Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm so glad you clicked on the video. Thanks for joining me. Today we are going to create a card with a frame on it. You know, I love my frames, and this is really fabulous. This is from Spellbinders, and it's called the Greenwich Market Frame. It's an emboss and cut set. So this is the embossing folder. The embossing folder will cut a frame, will not cut, will emboss a frame and then a flower and then 2 leaves, okay? And then there is a cutting die that will cut it out. So this style is an A2. Let me show you on an A2 panel. It will fit an A2 panel perfectly. Okay, so perfectly that when I cut this out, I'm going to make a bigger panel just because I want to get all the detail in it. Okay, so we're going to make an A2 picture frame card today with lots of beautiful detail. I would consider it a vintage card or a Victorian card maybe because of all the lovely detail in it. And we're going to jump in and get started. We're going to start by creating our card base. I'm going to create a shaped card base. So I have my 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock here. I'm going to slide this in my paper trimmer here. I'm going to put it at my 5.5 inch mark. I used the score slider and I scored it at 5.5. Now I'm going to put it back in here, and 4.25 would be a standard card, but I'm going to go over to 4 and we'll go over to 4.5. We're going to make this a little bit wider, and I'm just going to cut it. We'll cut this portion off. I did that because I want, when I run this through my die cut machine, I just want my frame to have a little extra room. So I'm going to take my frame, I'm going to line it up here. I'm actually going to tape it down. Okay, and then this is the fold line. So I have a little bit of extra room over here on the fold line, okay? That's going to be my card base. We're going to do our die cutting all at once. I think it's just going to make for an easier card. After we have this done, I'm also going to take some Spellbinders Anchor cardstock, and I'm going to create a frame with this. So I'm going to take the same die here, and I'm going to line it up here. And I'm going to create a gray frame. Now, when you do this, I can eyeball it pretty good, but when you do this, you want to make sure that your square is definitely in the center because you're going to line this up with the embossing folder. Okay, so I'll run this through, my card base through, and then while I'm at it, I'm going to bring in some white cardstock, and I'm going to die cut out my flower once. And I have some Spellbinders Seaside cardstock that I'm going to cut out my leaves with. And then I'm also going to bring in another die set, actually a couple more, okay? This is the Spellbinders Happy Post envelope. This is part of the Dear Santa release, and I just love it. It has an envelope that you can create, and it also has a little letter that you can create, which is so cute. So I'm going to create a little letter here with white cardstock. And then I'm going to create the envelope. I'm going to bring in some Spellbinders Fog cardstock. So that's a 3-piece envelope that we're going to create with the fog. Let me turn it this way so you can see. Lastly, I'm also bringing in a die set. I don't think this is available any longer, but I'm using the Petite Blooms from Spellbinders. Now this one has 2 greetings in here. It has a banner that says hello, and then it also has a little tag. I think Spellbinders has a tag set called Tiny Tags. And you can just create or even create your own little tiny tag. I like this one because I can add for you. Okay, and I'm going to cut this out with white cardstock also. Okay, that's going to be my greeting. So I will run all of this through my die cut machine, and then we're going to do a little embossing next. Everything is die cut, and here's my card base. Okay. I love shape cards. I think they're just so pretty. Okay, we're going to do some embossing next, but before we do that, I do want to create my envelope. This is the little letter that goes in it. It's got the cut lines in there. It's so cute. I think it's going to go perfect with my card. I'm actually going to take this and curl up. I'm going to curl up the edge here. Just curl up the edge a little bit. And then I did put some string on my For You. Again, I don't think this is available. It may be, but just use a small tag. Okay, and I put some white Lawn Fawn hemp cord on there. Okay, that's all done. Put that over here. And then to create the envelope, it's really simple. We just add a little glue. I'm going to add a little glue here and here. I'm going to tack this down. I'm going to make it more of a square envelope. So I'm going to go as low as I can, like so. Okay, and then this piece, you add a little glue to, and this piece goes on the bottom. And you have a nice little square envelope. There's a score line here that you could fold up a little bit. And then you can take your little note and you can tuck it in here. And I think we're good to go. So that's our little envelope. I'll put this with my tag, and now we're going to do embossing. Let's bring in our Greenwich embossing folder. What I like to do is take this, open it up to where your Spellbinders is on the front, and then making sure it's right side, I'll bring it in, open it up, bring it in, and then I line it up from here. And that looks good. I'm going to bring in my repositionable tape. This looks like regular Scotch tape, but it's actually a low tack tape. I'm just going to tack this down, secure this in here, like so. That's perfectly positioned. And I'm going to do the same thing with my leaf. Just position it on here, add a piece of tape. Secure it, that way you know it's not going to go anywhere. And with our flower too. I'm going to tack it down, and then I'm going to close it. Everything's not going to shift, but I will run this through my die cut machine. Again, I'm going to make another set of leaves too. I'm going to zoom in a little more so you can see how pretty this is. Look how gorgeous. This would be gorgeous for Christmas cards. Oh my goodness. This would be gorgeous even if you're going to put a photo behind it. It'd be just a stunner. Use your treasured cardstock and do this. It'd be gorgeous. I thought gray would be pretty because I'm going to use my white pigment ink. This is Hero Art's unicorn ink. Simon has a good white pigment ink too, but I'm just going to go over it and now watch that detail pop. Look how pretty that is. It looks so Victorian and so pretty. Just go over the edges, and there we go. That's going to be my frame. So pretty. I'm actually going to flip this over and put some foam tape behind here. So there's my foam tape. I'm going to take this now and put it directly on the front of my card base. Okay, I'll put this to the side, and now we're going to work on our floral. For the floral, we're going to go really easy. First, I'm bringing in my carnation ink. Okay, this is Simon Says Stamp's Positively Saturated ink. And then I'm going to use some of my shader brushes here. I'm going to use my pink, and then we'll pick up some color. And then starting from the middle, I'm going to do some swirls and swirl out. And then I'll just go all the way to the edges. That's my carnation. And then I'm also going to bring in my amethyst, which is a purple. I think if you were to do this with orange and yellow, you would do this with yellow first. It'd be really pretty. I'm going to take my purple blender, and then for this one, we'll do the same thing, just start in the middle and just kind of fade out. Okay, and then for my leaf, I'm going to bring in some blue ink. This is my Simon Says Stamp Cadet. This is a waterfall, so it's a teal. I'm going to bring in a blue. I love these two to cut. Look how pretty this is together. Add a little color here. And then, lastly, I'm bringing in gray. Okay, this is my Simon Says Stamp charcoal ink. And I'm going to add some gray. We're going to tone down how bright this is with gray. Go around the edges. I love the way that looks. And then as far as the flower goes, I'm going to do the same thing and add gray to the middle. There's some stamen that's in the middle, and I want those to be dark gray. So we're just going to add some gray here. Go in the middle. There we go. Look. So that's what that looks like. I am going to pop up my leaf, but I'm not done with my flower just yet. And I'll make a couple more leaves. Okay, so we'll put this to the side. I want the detail in the flower center is really pretty, and I want that to stand out. So for me to do that, I'm going to bring in some white pigment ink. This is white acrylic speckle from Hero Arts. Let me wipe this off real fast. Okay, I'm just going to add a little dab here. I think this is going to be a little bit brighter than my white pigment ink pad. Okay, and then I'm going to use a little dauber. This one's from Ranger. I'm going to pick up some of that white speckle, and I'm going to lightly tap over the flower center here. And then that will be my flower. Let's go ahead and wipe that. And that's all there is to that flower. So pretty. I'm going to take a foam square, and we're just going to flip this over. And this will take a minute to dry since it is an ink. But that's going to be my flower. I think that's going to be really pretty on the card. It's time to build our card. I did die cut out and color in 4 more leaves. We're probably just going to use 3, but it's always nice to have more than less. Okay, I'm going to take my letter or my envelope. I'm going to add glue behind here. And I'm going to tuck it. Once we have this adhered, kind of wonky, I'm taking a foam square and I'm going to put it behind my letter here just for a little extra dimension so it stays popped up. Okay, and then we can add, let's put the glue away. We're going to go ahead and add our flower next. Next I put a foam square behind my tag, and I'm going to add that over here off to the side. I went ahead and trimmed the tails of my bow here, and you'll notice I have green now on my leaves. I thought we needed another color on this card, so what I had did was brought in my field ink, and then just using one of my blending tools here. On the other side, what I had did was just add some green. And I just think this kind of brings it to life a little bit more. And I'm happy with the way this color looks. So we have the gray, we have the green, and then we have the teal. Lovely. Now, all we have left to do is add some bells and whistles. I did curl both sides of the letter here. Maybe we'll turn it this way. Maybe we'll tuck it a little bit. There we go. Okay, for bells and whistles, I'm just going to bring in some of my liquid pearls. This is white opal. And I'm just going to add a few white pearl drops in the background. If you have real pearls, you could use those also, just to give that flower center a little bit of dimension. And that's it. That's all there is to my card. I do want to mention that I created several different colors of frames. Let me show you. This was a lighter purple. The color of cardstock is no longer available. This was actually from Hero Arts. This was my Hero Hues lavender cardstock. But look how pretty that is. Nice and soft. And then this one is Spellbinders ColorWheel Orchid. Look how gorgeous. Just switch out the frames and you get a completely different look. So with several different options. I hope this gives you a little bit of inspiration. Thank you so much for joining me today. I think this is a definite desktopper card, especially with that beautiful frame. Thanks for joining me today. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for sticking with me to the end. I have 2 more videos that you guys might be interested here. If you guys are new and like the content that you see, click that subscribe button and also the notification bell. That way for future videos, be notified. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It sure does help the channel. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.